You know, it's like old people. They got to get to the buffet at 3:30.
Yeah, I'm still getting familiar with Zoom.
Well, you're doing a good job. We see you and you see us, so
So,
you're an expert already.
yeah, I've noticed that on some Zoom sessions, people have these virtual backgrounds,
Yeah.
and I don't know how they do that, but
Well, you get to either select in some, like I'm using. I don't know if I could use a virtual background on this computer. I haven't tried. It's using an ARM, you know, like the same kind of phone processor that you would have. So, but apparently you need a little bit of extra power. But yeah, I see friends. They're putting their, you know, their picture from the beach.
exactly.
Or whatever.
It depends on your background too, guys.
Right. And that's so true, because if you're wearing a blue shirt and you got a virtual background or a green shirt, you just it doesn't look too good. It's just
like a
it
head
disappears.
floating amongst everything.
Right, exactly. So that's one of those challenges that that we have.
Steve, you look a lot younger with your
Testing
beard.
1, 2, 3.
How's that, Larry?
Said you look a lot younger with the face hair.
Yes. That's a byproduct of
Testing 1,
COVID-19.
2, 3,
Just,
4.
hanging out, working
Hi,
from
John.
home.
Yeah, we've all learned how to give ourselves haircuts too sometimes. So
Yeah, I had my first haircut since March, just last week.
well, you went to a regular barber and
A regular barber, yeah, a real haircut.
Well, my wife's been the barber, and that's why you don't see very much on top here.
Yeah, my wife has helped also, but it's not something she really enjoys doing.
Well, we ordered some clippers from Amazon, and we're doing things virtually. So, Larry, how was the camping trip?
It was good. We're leaving again tomorrow for Gettysburg.
Oh, great! So
10
that's
days.
great to have the time to do that. Just you and Faye, or what?
Oh yeah, no, just Faye and I. That's enough. The boy's grown. He's 25. He's got his own job. You know.
Holy crow! I mean, time goes by when you're having fun. I said all of us remember him coming to the club meeting when he was a teenager, or before.
I know, in the good old days.
So pretty soon you might be a grandfather, but hopefully you'll wait for him to get married first.
Oh, he better get married first. That doesn't go well in our book. Let's see here. How do I open up? Oh, there it is.
Connor's on the stove. I'm getting ready for my meeting.
Hey, Larry. Are
Hey,
you
how's it
retired now,
going?
Larry? Officially?
I don't know if I got the sound off. You hear me now?
Yeah.
I'm going into my meeting thing.
Okay, there's a.
I'm not worried.
It's gonna be that's annoying.
I've changed these batteries.
No.
So who's got the purple room?
I think that's Ted.
Oh, that's Ted. Yeah. That's an interesting color for your ham shack.
No, it really does.
I just talked to him, and he's squaring away dinner.
Wow, look at you. You look like caveman. How's your summer been, Gary?
It's been great. Thank you.
And there's the other Gary, too. He looks
Oh, yeah. We got a couple of Garys here.
Hey, Ray, how are you?
What is all that stuff in the background? Is there an argument going on there or what?
Oh, that's Ted. I just muted him. There might be something else going on that we don't want to hear, at least not on the radio. And John, how's your summer been so far?
Hey, Larry. First of all, do you hear me okay? And do you see me okay? I had a whole bunch of permission settings and stuff I had to approve. I'm running on a Mac Mini. It's the first time I plugged the web camera in with Zoom, so gave me
It's working fine. It sounds good too.
John, you look 10 years younger in that Mac Mini, so it's working for you.
Okay, all right. I'll take that, Gary, any day. Thank you.
Hello, Larry.
Hey, there you are, Ted. I muted you briefly. I didn't want to know what you and Donna were discussing.
Do I look like Bob Heil? Hello.
So Donna painted your shack purple?
No, my
Lavender?
shack was painted purple, Barney purple by my daughter. When Sarah was in this bedroom, she painted it purple, and I got in here, and Donna actually said, "Don't you want to change the color?" And I said, "No, I like the purple.
Okay, well, I wasn't going to question it.
Purple. It's Barney purple."
Maybe not. Maybe it needs to be shiny. I don't know. It's been a long time since.
You know, Larry, the
Sunday
I love
Barney.
you, you love me.
Jake never liked Barney. He was more of an Elmo guy.
I got you. Let's see who's here. I'm looking at the pictures.
Yeah. Have you seen Gary? He looks like he just escaped from the cave there. There's so much face hair. I didn't recognize him.
Gary, I have to tell you, I went to a hockey game with my wife. You were like famous in that hockey rink.
Well, thank you.
Your picture was all over the place. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you met a couple of our if you saw us during halftime, you met a couple of our large animals that we have around.
Yeah,
here.
it was great.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to be starting hockey until December at the very earliest this year.
I got you.
So it's a little disappointing, but that's Jay and mine's big entertainment on the weekends. We go.
What do you guys think? I'm practicing to be the Jewish Santa this year.
I think there's a lot of opportunity for that.
I got to get white, more white. I got to get this down here.
Yeah, that's all right. You'll do great.
Hey,
But you got to gain a little bit more weight though in order to make that work for you.
now Charlie needs some of this. He's got the full white, but he needs some of that.
What about Ray? Ray's got a good face hair going.
Ray looks great. Ray
Hey,
always.
If I'm going to
Ray
be a
always
hermit,
looks
I might as
great.
well look the part.
Ray, can we hear a ho ho ho?
Ho ho ho.
There,
Ray's a
but
happy
you got some
camper.
competition there then.
Ray's a happy camper now that he switched his job.
Actually, I don't have a job yet.
That's true, Ray?
Yeah, the downside is that if I wanted to get a job in trucking, I had to be on the road. And with an 85-year-old mother with a heart condition, being on the road for 2 weeks straight
Can't do it.
was not a good thing. So I was going for local jobs, and all the local jobs want 6 months to a year experience. But they won't give you a job to get that experience.
I understand.
So I do have a hot iron in the fire. It's a company called Fastenal, and they're
I
looking
worked for them, Ray. I used to work for them.
Did you?
I worked in their Hadley store.
Yeah, I'm going to be.
Trucking for them?
If everything goes well, I'll be making early morning deliveries to the stores.
Okay.
So I did the P-test last week, so that's a good sign. And they called me up yesterday. They said, "Yeah, we're waiting for the clearinghouse to get your drug and alcohol records." And of course, the person's on vacation, so that delayed things another week. This has been 2 months in the works.
Now, Ray, don't they ship stuff up from the south and then they distribute out to the stores? Do they have a meeting point somewhere? off
Yeah,
84?
actually, it's about 5 minutes from me. It's a store back in Leominster,
Okay.
and I guess that's where I'm going to be based out of. So yeah,
I've been to
5
that
minutes.
Leominster store for a training at some point.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah. So I'm hoping that works out and things will turn around. But yeah, I'm not bored by any chance. That's for sure. I've been busy.
Gotcha. Look at that guy, Gary Smith.
Caveman.
I look like we're twins now, Gary.
I don't know. What am I? A close second or a third?
Yeah.
I start working. I was probably going to have to go. Gotta look civilized.
I like this format, Larry.
Yeah, well, it works. It seems to work.
I think it's pretty good. I don't know. You know, this is different than a regular meeting. If somebody cuts a fart, you got to smell it. Here, you don't have to. Larry.
Leave it to Ted to come up with that.
Larry and I were talking on DMR, you guys. I texted him the other day, and within 5 minutes, I did a call on the worldwide channel, and there was Larry in his camper talking to me. You guys have to take a second look at DMR. I think Tim wants to come back up, Larry.
Well, we'll see. I don't have, as of right now, maybe sometime in the fall of 2021.
Okay.
I've got a DMR mobile and I got a DMR handheld, and I'm still trying to figure the darn thing out.
Yeah, you just need some help. Once you get it, or once somebody really shows you, it's not that bad. It seems intimidating initially, Ray, with the code plugs and the spots and all this other crap.
And the downside is that up where I am, there's only one DMR
repeater,
and that's in Gardner.
That's where the hotspot comes in.
That's where the hotspot comes in handy. You got to get a hotspot, Ray.
Yeah, I've been actually I was going to talk to somebody, but he wound up sidetracked. I went to this breakfast Saturday, figuring that people are going to have their DMR radios and all this stuff. They all come walking in with their DMR Motorola's, so I felt so left out because I can't speak Motorola.
Right. Ray, I'll tell you something. If we put Tim in touch with you, he'll help you. Tim Vervorn came up from New Jersey, Harbono, at his cost, stayed in a hotel, and gave us a lecture and charged nothing. And he ended up joining our club, and he lives in Bloomingdale, New Jersey. He'd be happy to help you.
Interesting.
Hey, John, VOI, what happened to your water buffaloes?
Go back to the giraffes.
Hey, Ted, what hotspot are you using?
I have a Zoom spot.
Oh, do you? I got a Shark RF. I was wondering to get it.
They say that's amazing. That's a good one.
It is great. I mean, you just got it, because you could go. But I haven't been on lately. I've got, a Fusion and a DMR and a D-Star, and, you just basically on the web could decide what you want to do with it.
Yeah, the reason I didn't go with that, Gary, is it didn't have Wi-Fi originally. The original one didn't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I got the generation one too, and I got it hooked up to the router. But I'm thinking of getting, one of the newer ones.
Does the Shark allow you to do multiple wireless connections at one time, so it'll choose which one you want to use, or do you have to reprogram it every time?
I think the new one does. Mine is the first generation, and it's just one. And if you basically want to go to a different one, first of all, you've got to manually switch it, but there's a web app to do that but I understand the firmware on the newer ones are, it's a little, and the newer ones, as sort of Ted maybe alluded to, have the Wi-Fi built in, but I have an older one that doesn't. You got to hook it to a router.
The one Larry and I have has Wi-Fi and a LAN cable connection. Yours has a LAN cable, Gary. And
right.
The newer ones, believe it or not, Larry, don't come with a LAN cable. So if you have difficulty connecting through Wi-Fi, you're in trouble.
Are they single band or dual band?
Dual band.
They're dual band, Larry?
That is dual band.
Not duplex.
Right, UHF, VHF.
All right, we'll give everybody a couple more minutes here. As we hit 7:30, but we'll see who else.
There's Tim Gallagher. Tim, are you enjoying your DMR? You're muted, Tim. You're muted.
No, he's not muted.
He's not?
No.
Weird. He's muted on my end, and you're not, Larry.
I think you're gonna have to turn on your, just press your shift button.
Hi, Jackie. Hey there, Najim.
Hi there.
Najim.
Larry, I had some problem getting in when I clicked on the link you sent in the email. It processed for a while, then it said cannot join the meeting. And it suggested I either had a firewall or no internet. So I tried it a second time, got the same result. So then I went in a different route and entered the ID and the password, and it got me in that way. So maybe that's what some people are experiencing. I don't know.
Whatever works for you. You might want to tilt your camera down more because it's lopping off the bottom half of your face.
I know. That's
I
about
thought
it.
it was me.
No, it's me, but that's as good as it gets. There. That better?
That's good, Jackie.
All righty, good. All right, so before we get into things, so far I've got Charlie, Jurgen, John, W1JKB, and Aaron, KF1G, as having projects. Does anybody else have a project you want that you're going to present that I can add to the list? Everybody's jumping up and volunteering. You know, hey Spencer, welcome to the group. Cool. All right. We're going to get started. I'm going to give it just a couple more minutes here for those that are usually late to them is on time. So we'll give a few more minutes. How's your summer going, Najim?
So far, I don't know. The project that I'm dealing with is finally, coming to a good close. So hopefully I'll finish it within a couple of weeks, and a few snafus, but I got around them.
Ham radio projects?
Not yet. I mean, it's radios, but it's not ham radio. It's it's radio for a town. It's like 40, 2 repeaters and 40 stations, and IPs and radios and interference and stuff that don't work, and rewrite code. So finally got it to a point where it's stable. Stable means it's working.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, everybody, I'd like to introduce you to Spencer, KB1TE is a new ham. And
hi, Spencer.
Welcome.
Become active.
Hey, Spencer.
Welcome to the group here.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Hi, Spencer. Always appreciate somebody going for his PhD. So you're in UMass?
Yeah, I'm in CICS at UMass, the Computer Science College. Excuse me.
Okay, good.
Where are you originally from?
Virginia, Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Oh, my son works and lives in Topping, a little north of there.
Yeah, cool.
Actually, had it not been for COVID, I'd have moved there in the spring.
Oh. You did that just delay everything, or have you decided not to move down there?
I've just delayed it.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see here. All right. So let me just give another call out here. Is anybody besides the four I called earlier, which are Charlie, Jurgen, John, JKB, and Aaron, KF1G, have something to present to us tonight? No? Okay, well, maybe somebody will jump in, maybe we won't, we'll see. Okay, so we're going to get things started here, guys, or gang, and I'm going to request that you guys turn your phones off, and if you have any radios or TVs or anything in the background, and hopefully if you have a spouse in the background, she knows, or they know that you're on the radio or on the computer. It'd be great if that doesn't bother us. And to remind everybody, where September 1st starts the HCRA dues process. Our year goes from September 1st to August 31st, and dues are just $15. They haven't changed in many years, and it helps to fund different things that go on during the year that the club does. And we've just added through, with Vanessa's work, we've added a online application. So you can do renewal online, and you can join as a new member online through the hcra.org website. And you don't have, so many people don't do checks anymore or electronic checks, so you can do it through PayPal, through a credit card, whatever. Quick, easy, and fast, and hcra.org and membership. So please renew, please pay your dues. We're hoping that even though we're not meeting in person, we're hoping that everybody will just take care of this and we won't have to go chasing people later on. For those that don't know, first of all, welcome to the meeting here. Everything's kind of impromptu and we're learning as we go. But during the summer, Mike N1TA took the delayed tech class and turned it into a weekend tech class on Zoom. He did it over July 11th and 12th. He said it was an experience to do. He's volunteered to run the class again, but not over a weekend. Maybe spread it out over another period of time because it was too crammed on the weekend and just took the material couldn't be explained enough properly. So he's going to put together another class. We hope to be starting another tech class. So if you know anybody that might be interested, have them sign up on the HCRA website under you want to become a new ham, or drop any of us an email and we'll add them to the list. It's in the process. I don't know when exactly it'll happen. It might be late fall, it might be springtime, but that's what's in the works there for the tech class wise. And I'm hoping after this tech class gets done, we can also do a general class too. As of right now, the last I heard, there is no local online testing, but there is, I should have it, I don't have it handy at the moment, but there is somewhere you can go online and you can actually take online testing. Jeff NT1K has been working with a few online testing sessions, but nothing has been organized for the area yet that I know of as of a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. I want to remind everybody that the 10-meter net happens Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. on 28-375. Marcel, AA1WH, is our net control. And we're also looking for substitute net controls. Sometimes I'll do it, but it just so happens the next 2 Mondays I won't be around. So we're looking for somebody else who can be called upon in an instant or ahead of time and can substitute for Marcel or myself for the 10-meter net. And that'll just make everybody's lives easier. The 2-meter new ham net, which we suspended for the summer, I hope to get started again in October. Also looking for someone to share the net control responsibilities with. If you'd like to volunteer, you can drop me a text, an email, an instant message, a call, whatever may be best for you. But that went well, got good response in the springtime, and maybe now with some new hams that have taken some tests and classes and stuff going on, and more hams get involved. We're trying to give new hams a safe and comfortable place for them to experiment and get on at least 2 meters where they'll be welcomed. They won't have to deal with the ongoings of some of the other repeaters in the area where I've heard some pretty bad treatment by some of the regulars. So we're trying to give everybody a friendly place and where they can learn and be comfortable and just have some casual chit chat too. And we usually have a theme for every night and such. So that's the 2-meter net, and that's going to be starting up hopefully again in October. For those that haven't been participating, the HRA now has 2 Fox boxes, or actually 1.5. One of them we've been hiding since late spring. Right now, Ken KD1KU is taking control of hiding it for me since I'm going to be away for the next 2 weeks. And Matt W1PY has hidden it a few times. I've hidden it a few times. Bob WA1JKB has hidden it a few times. One of the nice things about the Fox box is it'll get hidden. There will be a hint that'll go out, and it's a great way to social distance because you can go out hunting whenever you want. If you want to go out at midnight, go right ahead. If you want to go in the middle of the week or the weekend or whatever, you don't have to worry about running into other people, or you rarely run into other hunters when you're out there. And it's a lot of fun. It's Sometimes they're easy, sometimes they're hard, sometimes the hard ones are easy and the easy ones are hard. They always take you to new places. You learn about new parks. It's always on public property. If you want to learn more, you don't have to actually go out hunting. You can just sit there and listen. But if you join WMA Fox Hunters on groups.io, you'll learn what frequency is being used, how to activate the Fox box, and so on, and what it does. And you can also learn about all the different hints, where it might be hidden, and or where the last one was hidden, where the new one might be heard. Base stations are welcome. You can try keying it from home and post a clue if you can. It's a lot of fun, and you end up in all sorts of different places, and all of them are in public property. Walk up. We try to stay away from poison ivy, from private property, no private property, easy place to hide, or easy place to park rather, and hunt when you want to. I've taken Ted and Larry KD1 RV out a few times this past summer. We had a great time. We were out in Chesterfield and Goshen and a few other places, and Amherst, and it's a lot of fun. And if you want to get into it and you don't know how to start, contact myself or any of the other hunters, and we'll be glad to help you out, or you can join us and come out with us too. So right now, the second Fox box is in assembly, and it probably won't get done at this rate probably until early October, when I have more time to work on it. Especially since my two collaborators bailed on me. So I'm just getting to it when I can get to it. And let's see here. If you have any contributions to Zero Beat, John N1JIE is the publisher. He didn't do one this month. He had some personal obligations, but we're always looking for new content for Zero Beat. Also looking for new content for the HRA website. There's some great stuff out there. There's some super creative people in the club. So if you got something to write up, something of interest, that other people might be interested in, posting on Facebook is nice, but then it vanishes. We can have it posted on the HRA Facebook page, and somebody can run across it and make use of it whenever they want and see it regularly again, whether it be now or a year from now or 3 years from now, it'll still be there. Much easier to find than on Facebook. And tonight is show and tell, as everybody knows. This is our first Zoom show and tell, so it'll be a process, a learning process for all of us. We have our judges are Najim and Gary AA1UE. Did you have somebody else volunteer? I know Marcel volunteered, but did somebody else volunteer? Where'd you go, Najim? There you are. Do you have your three judges?
Who's the third judge?
I guess it's going to be Marcel. Are you up for that, Marcel?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Do I have audio, Larry?
Yes, you do.
It's not on the computer. I had an upgrade, a Windows 10 upgrade last night, and it blew out all of my drivers. We got home an hour ago. I just came down and I had to call in on the phone.
All right, I'll send you an email if I remember afterwards how to fix that. It's pretty easy, but it's a problem that cropped up last spring with one of the Windows updates. So, all right, so Najim, you've got your collaborators there with Gary AA1UE and Marcel AA1WH, and let's see here. All right, so Charlie, KC1CKA, where are you?
KC1IKA.
KC1IKA, sorry.
That's all right.
All right. Let me turn the screen over to you. I'll share the screen with you. And let's see here. How do I do this? All right.
I'm operating off my phone, so.
Okay. All right. Well, you've got the screen, or you've got the floor. So go right ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I can't tell what I'm showing there. Basically, I did a real simple project this summer. My shack behind me here is all solar powered battery backup. So I haven't run AC power for my radios in over 2 years. I've got a 40-watt solar panel just in my window outside on this behind the curtain, and then I've got a 70 amp hour set of batteries, a 50 amp hour and a 20 amp hour set of lithium iron phosphate batteries, 10 amp hour batteries in parallel, 7 of those. But the problem I had was, and I don't know how well this is going to show, like I said, it's on my phone, but if we can see that, that is what I used to have for wiring and monitoring the voltage and the current draw because of what I originally set up. It had just way too much stuff going on and a lot of interference because it was a maximum power point solar charger, and I had to put a lot of toroids on and I had to simplify that. So I took that circuit and changed it to that, which is a lot simpler. And if I can, I'm not sure how well this will work. The actual charge controller is up here. This is the main battery. This is the other 20 amp hour battery. And that powers all the equipment here. And this pile of wires and stuff is what I removed from the circuit. That's how much I simplified it down. So I got rid of voltage monitors, the MPP charge controller, another voltage monitor, all the toroids, the extra cables. So that really simplified it, and I don't have any more interference with the radios. So that's what my summer project was. And I still have to add more solar panels. Unfortunately, I can't put them on the exterior of the house. It's my sister's house. So I got to hang a couple out of the attic windows. Now that it's starting to cool off, I can take care of that. But that was my project, was simplifying my solar charging for the radios and running off of that. So that's what I submit tonight. Any questions?
How many watts does your solar panel generate?
They're two 20-watt panels, and in the winter, I've gotten up to 3.5 amps coming in per hour, 3.5 amp hours. In the summer, not as much because they're vertical. So when the sun is higher in the summer, I don't get the efficiency, and I can only get maybe 1.5 amps out of them. But standby, I'm using on my UHF VHF 1.12 amps, so I can keep up listening all day long. And on my HF on the 7300, I'm only pulling just under 1 amp when I'm on standby listening. So as long as I'm not transmitting too much, with the 70 amp hours, I can go quite a bit. Last time when we had the Skywarn and I was up for 3 hours, I used 7 amp hours, and that included transmitting and receiving out of the 70 amp hours. So I used 1/10 in 3 hours, so I'm good for about at least a day, as long as I can charge up in 1 day of sunshine. But I also want to add more batteries. But if you're familiar with lithium iron phosphate batteries, fortunately my wife can't hear this. I've got over $1,000 worth of batteries between what I've got powering the radio, and I also have all my computers are on a AC power supply and a radio Epic Power Gate, West Mountain Radio Epic Power Gate. And I've got 4 7 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries on them. So I've got another 28 amp hours there. I've got another portable box with 2 more batteries, 2 more 10 amp hour batteries. And I've got 4 more seal lead acid batteries, 10 amp hours each, and a 35 amp hour that I have in the car from my mobile radio that I use. So I've got probably 2-3 days worth of solar power and batteries that I just need to recharge every other day if I had to. I'm pretty much self-sustaining on that, which is the whole purpose of emergency communications. And I try to operate in my shack. I don't have any AC, ambient heat. So if the power goes off and I'm operating in the summer, that's normal for me. So I practice what I plan on doing, and it comes in handy. So that's
Char-
it.
Charlie, I have a
Yeah.
question. This is
Sure.
Najan.
Hi,
You said
Najan.
you only have 40 watts. Do you said you also transmit with it?
That's
Or,
correct.
okay, how much power do you have 40 watt that charges the 70 amp hour?
Correct.
Okay, so basically you're transmitting, you're taking juice out of the 70 amp hour.
That's
Because
correct.
I have one 35 amp hour and I tried it with different wattages to transmit, and it's iffy. So I have another one 55 amp hour, but I don't want to. I mean, it's great for receive. If you receive,
Yeah.
you can.
Now, Jim, are you running steel lead acid or lithium iron phosphate for the
Lead acid.
35? Okay, I tried that in the beginning. That's
Mhm.
why it's in my car right now,
Mhm.
and the voltage just drops too quick. I was
Mhm.
trying to run a 7300 on it, and like you said, you can listen, but you
Yeah.
can't transmit because the voltage drops too quick.
Yeah.
That's why I went to lithium iron phosphate, because they'll hold the full voltage,
Mhm.
and they'll go about 80% drain before the voltage will actually start dropping, and it just drops. It's like D-Star and other digital modes. It's there and then it goes off the cliff, but you
Mhm.
get constant voltage, constant current for the full 80%. Whereas seal lead acid, it starts dropping after about 50% draw, but the voltage drops real fast. So that's
Mhm.
why I went to lithium iron phosphate. And that would make a big difference for you.
Yeah.
It's more expensive initially, but you
Yeah.
can recharge them 2,000 times versus a couple hundred. So the long-term cost is less.
Yeah, because it was dropping the voltage and kicking out
Yeah,
the regulator.
yeah.
So
That's why I went to lithium iron phosphate and I bought the bullet, bit the bullet, and just went with the more expensive initial outlay because I want to operate off DC.
I think a Honda generator is in my future.
There you go.
So,
I can't run
Because-
that in my bedroom here.
No, because when the town that I'm dealing with in Natick, every pumping station that they have and they have transmitters and stuff like this, they have one of those Honda generator, and they swear by it.
The
And
only
so
thing I don't like about generators is theoretically I'm not going to run out of sunshine. If we have an extended, yeah, if I do, I got worse things to worry about. We went the October blizzard, we lost power for a week and people ran out of fuel. They couldn't get fuel. So that's why I went with pure solar.
so
Yeah.
Charlie, it's Gary AA1UE. You have a recommendation? Where'd you get the light pose from? Was it like eBay or one of the suppliers, or where'd you purchase your battery?
Dakota Lithium. Dakota Lithium, people use Renogy, but make sure you check the specs because I have 7 batteries in parallel for the current. And the Renogy's say with the battery management module that's in them, they say do not put them in parallel. Whereas with the Dakota Lithium, there was a guy that used them on a sailboat and he had like 70 of them or some ridiculous number all in parallel charged up. So these I can run in parallel for the extra current and they don't complain. So that's why I went with the Dakota Lithium.
Cool. Anybody else have
Charlie,
any
it's
questions?
Marcel.
Hey,
Yeah,
Marcel.
Charlie Marcel, I have a quick question. How are you?
Very good. Thank you, Marcel.
Yeah. Hey, one of the things I've read about using solar chargers is there's a lot of electronic interference generated, especially for HF. And I'm wondering if you've experienced any of that with the panels you're using.
With the panels, no. Originally, I was using Jenison GV10 lithium charger, and that's there's 2 different types. There's pulse width modulation and there's maximum power point. And with the maximum power point, I don't know if you could see, but I've got a lot of toroids on there, and it was really wrecking my HF. I was just barely able to get rid of the interference with all those. With the Buddy Power Mini that I'm using now is a PWM charge controller, and that does not seem to interfere at all with my HF. But I did have it
Very
with
good.
the Jennison.
Thank you.
Sure.
Nice presentation, Charlie.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Charlie. Any other questions for Charlie? Okay, Jürgen, I keep wanting to call you your old call. NV1Q, you're up next.
How's my audio?
Sounds good.
Can you actually know what can I do a PowerPoint presentation? We talked about that.
Yeah, you should be able to.
So, well, we're gonna give it a try. Otherwise, I mean, I still have a backup here, so
Yeah,
just in case.
Let me just go into the sharing here.
Well, so how? Yeah, wait a minute. I have to exit the full screen.
Wait, let's try this now. All right, try now. I made a change.
Okay, let me try. Let me call up the computer. It's slow, so I have to. Okay, let me see. So how you take actually over, or how does it work now? You have a screenshot or what? Because you should see my desktop already, shouldn't you?
You have a button at the bottom of the window that says share screen.
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it clicked, but
yeah, Jürgen has to. This is Vanessa. Jürgen has to click on it.
Where do I have to click? Where?
You
At
click
bottom
on
of
the
app.
actual share screen
Oh, this
button,
one here.
the
Okay.
main one,
Okay.
and then right, you're going to see
All right, there
multiple
we go.
screens. You're going to
Okay.
see there you go.
there
What do
you
you
go.
see now?
Perfect.
So what do you see now?
Your PowerPoint.
Oh,
Welcome to
because
show and tell.
I still see my camera. So you see the PowerPoint?
We
Yes.
we see the PowerPoint.
We see you in the list with everybody else, and we see the
then you-
PowerPoint.
Oh,
Yep,
great.
got it
So
here.
so
I
let's-
have 3 screens up, so that's.
well, let's give it a try because I figured that might be easier. And, as a retired person, you have a lot of time to do all these kind of things. So let me see. Okay, this one here should work. Okay.
Take a little more.
Why it's not? Huh. Okay, I think it works. What I would like to talk about is the rotator control for the HEM4 rotator. When 2 years ago, when this article appeared in the QST, I got a lot of, or not a lot, but a number of people just sent me an email or asked, will this also work for the HEM4? And it looks like the HEM4 is one of the, I think, the most popular rotator controller, probably because it works and it's relatively inexpensive compared to IESO and some of the others. So if you haven't seen the article, it's on our Facebook, I mean on our Hampden County webpage or a web, so you can call it up and you can read it, what it does, just for those people who haven't really looked at the article. You can interface your controller, and you will see this here on your screen on the computer. This one here, you will see the Azimuth display, and you see here is like a cursor line. This you can actually move around. You click on it. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Let's go back. What did it do now? Okay. Okay, not go back. That's strange. Let me see previous. Okay, hang on. Okay, so and also you can actually enter manually your direction, and you can call or you can turn your computer by pushing these buttons counterclockwise and clockwise, or you put a preset number in. So again, I don't want to go into details. You can read this up, but again, so. Okay, here's the HEM4 control box. Nothing special. It's a counterclockwise button. You push here. You have to release the brake first, and this is clockwise. This is the schematic. There's nothing to it. There's no electronic, nothing. It's just a transformer that supplies power to these clockwise and counterclockwise switches. And you have to push the brake first. The brake actually supplies the power to those switches, and then the switches then turn the rotator either left or right. So this is these are the connections that will interface to the circuit that I came up with. And this is it. Oh yeah, I don't know whether you see the whole schematic, but you have 3 relays. Those relays have contacts, and they actually in parallel, and I think I should maybe go back one more, wait a minute, let me see, previous. Okay, these connections here are the contacts of those relays. The brake relay, the counterclockwise, and the clockwise relays. When people ask me, originally I said, okay, can I use it with what you have done? I say yes, but it will work. Not perfectly, but it will work, and you might have some problems. So when I came up with this one here, you have those relays, and I read also on the web, people ask the same question, but what happened if one of those relays got stuck? So if one of these relays got stuck, and you would turn, for instance, stuck in the counterclockwise, and you would turn, and you would then try either manually or from the computer, you would go into clockwise, you would damage the motor, because now you supply voltage to both sides of the motors. So I was thinking about that. I could use different relays, but that would make the printed circuit board a little bit larger and would also make the project a little bit more expensive. So I tried to stay with those cheap Chinese relays, and because the whole circuit, probably about $10 on parts. That's it. What I did, I actually monitor the contacts when they switch back. And this is, for instance, if you can see, can you actually see the cursor when I move it?
Yes.
Okay. So for instance, see the CW here. So if you turn to CW, this contact will make this here, and it will actually then bridge the CW push button on the controller. When it switches back, it goes into this. You see this one here, because this is now AC, so you have to convert it. I put a diode in just to get DC here, and then I put a Zener diode in just to limit the voltage of less than 5 volts, so that I won't damage the input on the Arduino. So this, now you feed this back, and it looks. If I say okay, turn off, and I don't get power here because this contact has to go back. If I don't get power here, it says the circuit, okay, something is wrong, and it will turn on this, and then it blocks off the circuit and turns on the LED. It will actually store that fault in an EEPROM. So even if you turn off the Arduino and turn it back on, it will still be there, because the fault is stored in the Arduino, and you have to go back on the first page I showed you where I had those switches. You have to go on the PC and then enter push button 1 and button 2, and that will reset the system. So I also have some auxiliary relays here. In the original design, I had 8 relays. Here I have only 5. Okay. Now I came up with the printed circuit board. This is how the printed circuit board. This is what you send to the manufacturer, and then what you get is this here, the top layer. Here you see the bottom layer and top layer. You can see here are the traces for the relays. They're larger because they have to carry some. They have to carry some current here. And I equipped one. Okay, let me. And this is how the printed circuit board looks like. You see the relays here, the terminals, and the Arduino, and one diode for the faults. So first, when I started this, when I had a fault, I just the light, the LED came on, and it didn't help me too much because I didn't know, was it the brake fault, was it a counterclockwise, or which really was the fault. So now I programmed in actually the code. So when I have a brake fault, this one will flash a B. If I have a counterclockwise, this will for left turn, so this one flash an L. And if I have clockwise fault, this one will flash an R for right turn. So that's why now I have one LED, but it displays exactly which fault is on. And let me see. This was okay. And this was the end of my presentation. I think I stayed within the 10 minutes. I hope so. Any questions?
Jürgen,
You're assuming that some of the hams out there are going to learn CW so they can use the controller.
Well, at least they see something flashing, so they know something is wrong.
Jürgen,
very good, very good. Anybody have any questions for Jürgen?
Jürgen, I have a question. You said you had if let's say one output got stuck and then you try the other output. Now you have a CW and a counterclockwise going on at the same time. Could you have done it like the old electromechanical? This is from my first job when you hired me. Like put
30 years ago.
Put like they do when you have like you want to start a motor forward and reverse. So if you hit the forward, it disables the reverse, which means add additional contacts. You can add additional contacts for, let's say, more reliability. And when you energize the CW, you de-energize the other one. So if it gets stuck,
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that, but that's what I said before. It makes the project more expensive. You need more relays, to make more expensive relays, and this works. Okay, so I will just turn back. Okay, so share my screen. I turn it off. Okay, go back. How do I go back to? Is this a screen? Okay, hang on. Okay, no. How do I get back to my camera?
Let's see.
Is it a stop sharing?
You're back to your camera now, I think.
Yeah.
Is my camera back? Okay. Yes. See here's Najim. See that? It's flashing.
Okay.
See that? All works. See, this was R. Okay, the B. Okay, so I have right now all three of them. Yes, was my little test setup because I have to see whether when I simulated a fault that it will actually create a fault. So this is a little my little test setup here. You can see where is it? Okay, here. Let me see. Okay, here, and then we go over here. Is the okay that, and I have. Here are the printed circuit boards, so they're pretty good. If I think I have right now, I have for five boards. I have 10 boards actually, and I have parts for five complete sets. So if anybody's interested, I actually work with somebody with a ham together with a ham in Monson, I think he is, and he has a ham 4. And he probably will put this on his ham 4 probably next week or the week after. So, okay, no questions, I guess.
Any other questions? Oh, cool. Thank you very much, Jürgen. We're gonna move on to John, WONJKB. The floor is yours. Where'd you go, John? Where'd he go? WONJKB, John, where'd you go? Well, I don't know where he went to. He has vanished. Let's try it again here. I don't see him up here. Let's me just look here at the list. Nope, he has vanished. So we'll go back to him if we can. Aaron, KF1G, are you still here?
Yes, I am.
Okay, you've changed. You look different. The floor is yours, Aaron.
Thank you. So about 2 weeks ago, I got inspired
by the new ICOM 705. And a lot of people were talking about how wonderful it is that it supports USB charging. And it's an awesome radio, but I thought if USB charging was cool, maybe we should have USB charging for anything anybody wants to USB charge. So I took this little controller, which is from Amazon. It's a little boost converter. They're $8 for 4 of them. And they will convert from 2 volts in through 12 volts in, up to 28 volts out. So from the input voltage up to 28 volts. It won't go down in voltage, but USB is 5 volts in, so you can get any voltage between 5 volts and 28 volts out of it. Now, Ohm's law says you can't get free energy, so you put 2 amps in, and you get, at 12 volts, you get about 700 milliamps out, which is plenty to charge things with. So here's a little, the board. It's smaller than a thumb. I hope everybody can see that. There's a little screw right on the top of it that lets you adjust the output voltage by turning that little screw. And it has built in a USB port, which means that it's actually a really simple project to build. All you have to do is on the output, put a connector. And if you're motivated, so I put it in a case. I got the case free at some ham fest I went to in Vermont. They had a big table of them. After you paid your $10 to go into the ham fest, they had just a pile of cases. And I also tossed into it a little tiny LED, a voltage meter, that all it is the size of 3 7-digit arrays, and it's a couple wires. And this makes a little tiny USB powered adapter that can output any voltage. I've got it set for 13.5 volts here, which is about the voltage that my KX3 really likes to get for charging. But you could also set it for 9 volts to charge an HT in the cradle. So I don't know about most people, but I have a relatively new car. It doesn't have any cigarette adapters. It has lots of USB ports though, which means now I could actually charge an HT while I drive down the road. So this was my little project. I'm going to send this to somebody, and I'm going to build me another one with power pole connectors on it to make my life easier. That's it. I made a YouTube video about it. This is the name of the boost converter. And you can get them on Amazon. They sell them at all different price points. This is the one I got. I got it a couple years ago, and it just sat in my parts bin. And if you want to, you can go to my website. The URL is there. And I have my 15-minute long video on the build. If you need more information or you like watching me hot glue things together. That's it. Any questions?
Sounds good, Aaron. Thank you. Question?
Aaron, it's Gary AA1UE. What's the capacity of the 3608? How much could it handle in terms of amperage?
Well, you can put, I think you can put 3 amps into it, but most USB connectors only output 2. It handles 2 easily. Now, if you were going to dial it all the way up to almost 30 volts, you wouldn't be getting a lot of amperage out of it. You'd be getting, I don't know, 300 milliamps if you're lucky, probably 200, which isn't really enough to charge most things. But 12 volts, it handles pretty efficiently, because 700 milliamps is actually what a lot of chargers for 12 volts really kind of wants to see. It will take it a long time to charge, but things take a long time to charge anyway. And this way, if you have one of those little, like if you have a USB battery pack that you would charge your phone with, now you can charge your KX3 or your 817 or your 818 or an HT off of that same emergency battery pack that you have for your phone.
Good information. Appreciate it.
Any other questions, Najim?
Yes, Aaron, I have a question. I dealt with something similar to this. I didn't use it to charge. It's basically the boost converter. It's actually like a DC to DC converter, and it's an up converter. And I've used some from a company called Automation Direct, but these are more to go into like regular industrial panel. And basically, you feed it 12 volts, and it up converted to 24. And this is, I use it for let's say when I take radio equipment with me on the field for setting up like a solar panel, with the battery, and feed the transmitter with 12 volts, and then convert it to 24 volt for a PLC, and attempt to to talk to the station. But basically, the same concept. I also bought a couple of them, on eBay or Amazon. And one thing I noticed is some of them are really leaky, and you get a lot of interference. If you put like an FM radio next to it, you can really hear like buzzing. Did you have this experience with it?
No, I didn't. One of the things when you're on Amazon, you can find this exact same converter for $5 for a 15 pack. Don't buy those. You get the 3 or 4 pack for $10. They'll be higher quality usually. Now, to get rid of the buzzing, you can put an inductor on the output. A couple 100 millihenries will usually take care of that RF noise, which is usually all you would need to do. You just put it just hanging off the hot side of the output, and that'll take care of the RF hash. I use buck converters a lot, which take voltage and lower it to power Raspberry Pis and things like that, because I have a 12 volt power supply and I wanted to get 5 volts so the magic smoke doesn't come out of my Raspberry Pi. And those work pretty good, but they have the same kind of problems. But most of the time for me, if I'm charging something, I'm not using it. And I found that even just having the boost converter even 5 feet away from other radios, can't hear it anymore because it's very low power. It's kind of wide banded, but even if you're 5 feet away, you can't hear it anymore.
That's about the same distance that I within 5-6 feet you move away from it and it disappears.
So if it is a problem, a little inductor on the output, but really don't buy the cheapest ones from Amazon is the big key, and you can do okay.
Yeah, no, I bought it's a company called Automation Direct, and I think they costed like if you want to put it in an industrial panel, it's gonna be it costed more like $200 because it comes pre-packaged and it's gonna mount on a DIN rail and accepts inputs. But I mean, it worked fine, but similar to what you have. And the only question that I have is, how long does it take to charge? You said it takes a long time. I mean, is it how does it compare to let's say to the regular charger that comes with the HT?
I haven't charged my HT all the way yet, but the charger that comes with my HT is 800 milliamps at 9 volts, and this will easily put out more than that at 8 volts. So the time should be pretty close. It'll charge my KX3 in about 6 hours.
Okay.
Cool. Anybody else have any questions? Cool. Thank you very much, Aaron. We appreciate it. Let's go back to John, WONJKB. I saw you back again, John. The floor is yours.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can? Oh, I made some changes. Okay.
Yep.
Is it possible for me to get full screen so that I can bring up some text files and everybody see them?
Yeah. Go ahead and do that. I just click the sharing, and you should see something. And you just got to click on the share screen on your end.
Share screen. Let's see. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay.
We don't see it yet.
Yeah, because my whole presentation is kind of based on some text files I created this morning as visuals, and kind of without it, what I'm going to say, oh yeah. Well, here's one.
There you go.
There we go.
If after anybody's interested in what I'm going to say, you can always contact me one of these ways and we can discuss it. Okay, let's see here. Bear with me a second. Let's see. Oh, how did that happen?
You click the X. Click the share screen again.
Share screen. Okay, let's see. How am I going to navigate through this? It worked this morning when I was prepping my presentation, but I wasn't going through Zoom. Let's see. How can I bring up? Oh, here. Okay. Now I have an idea where I'm going here. First of all, what I was going to present is the results of 2 programs I wrote in the basic language, because I'm in the middle of putting together an end-fed half-wave antenna. And from some of the information I was getting from online, as far as the optimum lengths to use for the antenna, varied quite a bit. Is everybody still hearing me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So what I did was I wrote my own program, using some more specific factors, numeric factors here. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Calculations. Okay, here's one of my visuals. Can everybody see that?
No.
Now you have to switch your screen. You're still sharing your Explorer.
Okay, you are sharing. See, I'm at a little bit of a loss here.
Do you have more than one screen?
John, do you have more than one screen?
Open? Oh. One of them?
Do you have more than one screen? The one you're sharing now is the one with the calculations file?
Okay, that's the one I wanted you to see. Can everybody see it?
No, you got to move it onto your main screen. John, you got to move it onto your main screen.
Okay.
So John, to do that, hit share, and you're going to see more than one screen on your computer. So click on the screen that you want to share.
Let's see. Oh God.
Okay, you're up.
Yep, I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, I'll go through how I went about calculating the full wavelengths for any given frequency or channel. First of all, we have to know what the speed of light is. And we all know from our training that speed of light is the same speed that we radio waves. And the actual accurate speed of light in a vacuum is 299,792,458 meters per second. And that translates into the number, I won't read it, but it translates into the number of feet directly below it. But one thing I learned is that in Earth's atmosphere, the speed of light is just minusculely slower And you can see the numbers there. It's 299,702,000 instead of the number up above. And those are numbers that I'm going to use in my calculations. And also, a lot of people, when converting meters to feet, they use 3.2808. For me to be more specific, I'm carrying it out to 9 decimal positions, which you can see there. In order to calculate the full wavelength of a frequency, I'm dividing the speed of light in either feet or meters, depending on what result you want to get, by the frequency in hertz, not in megahertz, but in total hertz. And there's an example down below where I'm using, the 10 meter band, 28.300. And that comes out to 10.60 meters, which is the same as 34.46 feet. The only reason I'm giving you this is so that when I get into my programs, you'll see what I'm using. Let's see now. Oops. Okay, there are 2 programs I wrote. Let's see, which one is this? Oh, okay, here's a report that I generated. Can you see this?
Yep.
Okay, the report is using the calculations and numeric values that I just specified. What I did was I used all the bands that are specified in the ARRL band chart, and including some of the lower ones like 0.23 meters and 33 meters, all the way through, let's see, how can I do this? Move this down. There it goes. All the way through the lower bands, which were like 630 and 2200 meter. And what I did is I just picked the frequency that are part of the subbands, the edges of some of the subbands. And I picked those. And here you can see, without my going through it one at a time, what the length of those frequencies are in feet and meters. This, and I'm hoping to put this on the website, so anybody who's basically wants to do something like I did, you'll have a reference point of what the actual wavelength at that particular frequency is. Okay, any questions so far?
This is Gary. Thanks, John. Are you anywhere taking into account, the kind of wire you're using or the diameter of the tubing you're using for your antenna, and how would that influence your calculations?
Well, this is strictly this wavelength in open air. Okay? This has nothing to do with, the wavelength within a wire or anything like that. Okay, and what I did was I ran this through my program 2 different ways. Once using the speed of light, which is in a vacuum, and the other way is through the speed of light in the Earth's atmosphere. And I won't bring up the other report, but the only difference is when I got down here to the 2200 meter band, this, can you see my cursor here?
Yep.
Okay, the only difference down here was a difference of less than 3 feet. So I just did that to prove that there's very little difference between the speed of light in a vacuum and in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, bear with me a second here. Okay. Here's the, let's see. Oh, Come on, open up.
Double click it.
Okay. Whether anybody's interested or not, here's what the program I wrote looked like. Here you can see the headings on everything, and here's the source code for it. Are you all catching this?
Yep.
Yep. Got it.
Well, if anybody's interested, I'm willing to share this. If anybody, the reason why I might want to share it is that because it's written in such a way that it can be modified to serve other purposes. Here you can see my calculations here. One's in the vacuum, and I've got some in the others in the atmosphere. And so this is basically the core of the calculations that are being done, and they're being done in a loop. And the beauty of doing this inside of a computer program is I can get results up to 9 decimal digits. But as far as my report, I limited that to rounding it off to 2 decimal digits. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I got a lot of stuff open here. Okay. It's too much already. Come on. Okay. The other program I wrote was to help me decide what was the optimum wire length for the antenna I wanted to use. And here, got it. Okay. I was gonna, I considered creating an end-fed half-wave antenna for both 60 through 80 bands and 6 meters through 160 meter bands. Originally, I was going to make my wire longer in order to handle the 160 meter band, but it would have doubled the length of my wire, for which I didn't have the space on my 50 by 100 foot lot. And my experience was that I haven't heard anybody on 160 band, so I wouldn't be losing much there. Okay.
You'll hear more in the winter time. You won't hear anybody in the summertime, or rarely.
Oh, okay. But I'm still limited in my space. So I'm gonna use this as an example. This is the output from my program. Basically, when you're creating an end-fed half-wave antenna, you're looking for a length that is not resonant on any of the frequencies or the bands you're going to use because you use the the transformer at the feed point and your antenna tuner to offset that. This here, as you can see, for once, I'll use the 6 meter through 80 meter as an example. The antenna has to be at a minimum the length needed for the lowest frequency on the lowest band you're going to use. So in this case, for let's see here. Where did I put it here? Oh yeah. For 80 meters, my antenna has to be at least 70.3 feet long at a minimum. And for 160 meters, it's 136.6 feet long. So I'm going to go down here. These numbers are all in numerical order. These are all the lengths I don't want to use because they are resonant. Okay, so for 80 meters, let me go down here to, I said, it has to be at least 70.3 feet. Okay, and if you see here, where my, right here, there's a gap between 68 69.6 and 78.7. That's the range, a good range to make your antenna length, because it won't give you any conflicts with any of the other frequencies, and it gives you a good span. So I'm choosing like about 74 feet for my antenna. Any questions? Okay, let's see. Let's see here. Okay, and here's the program I wrote for it. As you can see here, I'm using some of the numbers from that first page that I showed you with the calculations and all that. Here is, well, I'm going to get into the programming a little bit here. Go sub just means go to a subroutine, and I can pick and choose one of these bands I want for calculations. If I want to do away or neglect one of the bands, all I have to do is put a single, and so that's what makes this very useful. As you can see, going through the individual bands, and here's how everything's being calculated. Oh yeah, it's for the length of an end-fed half-meter antenna. In order to avoid it being resonant on more than one band, you have to calculate the quarter wavelength, half wavelength, full wavelength, and up to 5 multiples of the half wavelength, and so that you can avoid any conflicts there. So there's a lot going on in the program, and that creates that list. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Okay.
Sounds good. Anybody have any questions?
John, I have a question. It's Marcel.
Yes, sir.
Don't call me sir.
Okay.
2 things.
Yes.
The first one, in your list of the antennas that you're trying to configure the length for,
yes.
Does it automatically, if I just X out 160, does it automatically tell me if I am a quarter wave, a half wave, whatever, in that multiples of a quarter wave on the other bands? Or do I have to figure it for each one? I'm not sure if I'm being clear. If I want to know if I'm okay for a multi-band 80 meter, does it automatically configure it, tell me what the right length is or the bad lengths, the lengths to avoid for all of them?
Where I showed you at the top of the program we're in right now, I showed you where it does go sub or goes to different sub for each one. You can pick and choose which bands you want to consider. So say if all you want to use off of this radio is the, say, 40 meter and 80 meter, and forget about all the other bands, you can just run it that way, and it'll give you a lot fewer frequencies to avoid. Or should I say to avoid. That's what makes it a little bit more versatile.
Okay, and the other one's kind of a technical point. This is technically not for an end-fed half wave. This is for an end-fed half wire, because an end-fed half wave is resonant. I run an end-fed half wave here, and it's resonant. It's a resonant antenna on 40, 20, 15, 10, and actually you'll tune on 6.
Did I say half?
That's what run. Yeah, you said half wave. It's technically what you're figuring here is an end-fed long wire.
Wave, end-fed half wave.
I'm sorry?
What I meant to say was end-fed half wave antenna.
What my point is this is not an end-fed half wave. You're avoiding the half wave. An end-fed half wave is a resonant antenna, whereas an end-fed long wire is a non-resonant and typically uses a 9-to-1 balance, which is what you're using here, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So an end-fed half wave is resonant. A 40-10 would typically be about 62, 63 feet. An end-fed half wave for 80 through 10 would be about 135 feet. And it would use a 49-to-1 balance. It's just a matter of semantics in what you're calling it, but it's technically an end-fed long wire.
Well, I guess this antenna is supposed to be usable at a quarter wavelength. Meaning because I'm using it right now and on at a length of about 75, and which is a quarter wavelength for 80 meters, and it's working just fine for me.
And it tunes on all the others.
Well, I haven't run into any other problems.
Okay.
Yep.
That was my question. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for John? Najim?
Nope.
Head judge there? Nope. Okay. Cool. John, thank you very much for presenting. Is there anybody else that would like to present something to the group that I don't have on my list? Okay, cool. Well, in the meantime, I'd like to thank the four of you for presenting tonight. It's our first show and tell on Zoom, and definitely an interesting and fun time tonight. Our judges will commiserate amongst themselves, and we will share the results on both the on the Facebook page and on the HRA email list once they've come to a decision as far as first, second, third, and fourth place. So our first, second, and third place for the prize and stuff. So, but we thank you all for presenting tonight. Definitely was interesting, and definitely is fun seeing what everybody's working on and on all different levels of everything. Let's see, I got a couple of things to do to announce.
Larry, I have a question.
Go right ahead. Who's that?
I don't mean to disparage our wonderful judges, and I'm sure you made good choices, but in the past, haven't we voted at the meeting on our favorite?
We have, but we were trying to make it simple, and I don't know how we're going to do that on Facebook since I can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can only see 25 people at a time, even though I've got 3 screens up. I can't see everybody at once. So raising your hands or yays and nays isn't going to cut it. So we decided to do, on the board, we decided to do a 3-man judge. That way we wouldn't have, 2 and 2 or 1 and 1 with the decisions, Jackie.
I see. I just wondered why that was the case. Okay. Thank you, Larry.
This is Jürgen. We have done this several ways, and I'm doing this now for many, many years. And we have had judges, and sometimes we had votes by the membership. And so we have done it several ways, and I don't know
Okay.
Maybe for next year, if we can come up with a way for everybody to vote, but we couldn't figure out how to do that this year, so we're doing it the three-man judging.
Gary, I have suggested that before. Obviously, we cannot do it now, but that everybody who brings something to show and tell gets a raffle ticket, and there's no one second or one first prize, second prize. Everybody gets a raffle ticket, and then if we just draw the tickets.
Right, but that's all fine and good if you're live and in person, Jürgen. So
I mean, right now
we talked about it at the board and decided to do it this way. If we figure out something, if we're meeting in person by next year, and we can do it differently, but. For the moment,
right now, I think it's the best you can do.
Yeah, there's unless somebody comes up with a better solution, virtual wise, we're going to keep doing it this way for the moment, at least. So, anyways, a couple of little announcements. I already reminded everybody about the 10-meter net, and we always have a lot of fun on that. And Marcel does a good job. We are looking for somebody to help Vanessa with the website. You have to know WordPress, okay? You have to know WordPress. If you use it, it's not really hard to use, but you have to know it, be more than just a casual user. So we're looking for somebody to assist her, to take some of the responsibility off of her. If you're interested, you can contact Vanessa at, I think it's webmaster@hcra.org, and she'll talk to you, and we'll see if you fit the bill to help out. In the meantime, she's doing a phenomenal, fantastic job, but we just like somebody to help her out, and she's looking for a little less responsibility. Also, as everybody knows, we're always looking for people to volunteer, not necessarily for the board, but for different things going on with the club. We need help outside of the board. For example, Mike N1TA is been doing the online classes. I just talked to Ken, KD1KU, and he's going to be doing some stuff for us starting soon. And so we're looking for anybody that might want to take on a project or volunteer and help somebody existing. And if you don't want to be on the board, that's fine, because the elections aren't till next June. But we're always looking for ideas, for things to do within the club. And especially now that we're running virtual, and I don't have a clue as to when we might be able to meet in person. My guess is next spring at the earliest, based on what everybody is saying about COVID and what type of a winter we might have. So different activities. The Fox Hunt is one activity. If we can think of other activities for people to do, whether it be virtual or individually, but as a group. And one of the things we might be doing is doing a virtual class. Najim was talking about possibly something with Arduino. We still have our CW kits that haven't been built. Might be able to do that on Zoom and answer questions and help people get those assembled. Other things, we're looking for ideas. You don't have to volunteer now. You can contact anybody on the board. You can contact myself. And if you got an idea or something idea-wise, it's something, maybe not something you want to share yourself, but some sort of idea you have, just pass it on to us, and we'll see if we can put it together. Does anybody have any questions or any ideas or anything they want to pop up right now?
Yeah, Gary, there's just some suggestions for everybody to think about. We all have memories in ham radio, and sometimes we don't get to tell stories in terms, you can think of, hey, what was your first contact like? Was that memorable for you? Do you remember your first DX contact? I know I do. I remember his call, and that was 55 years ago. In addition, maybe you have a special interest, like you're a certificate hunter, or maybe you collect QSL cards. We'd love to see them and show about them. A shack tour would be, something special. And I know you'd probably bring this up, Larry, but, we're looking for creative ideas for the holiday party. My wife just had a virtual meeting with some of her buddies, and they had a dinner together in the next room. But so a lot of things to think about, and just forward your ideas to any of us, because there's so much, there's such a varied interest in amateur radio and so many different aspects of the hobby, and we'd love to hear what in particular excites you.
Cool, sounds great. Anybody have any comments or suggestions? We are hoping to do Gary came up with the idea of doing a virtual holiday party, since obviously it's not safe to meet as a group. We're looking for a guest speaker for December, where we normally don't. So if we can get somebody to talk for 30 minutes and everybody can chow down and have a glass of wine and have some comments, that's great. I did email Fred, I forgot his K1VR, who's, maybe you can talk to him, Ray, because he doesn't seem to answer my emails immediately. It takes him a long time to talk to us and join us maybe in December or sometime in the future, Ray. I'm going to dump this on you. Ray is our section manager, KB1LRL. He's visiting us from eastern Western Mass.
Lunenburg.
Yeah, Lunenburg, North. Well, yeah, either way.
North of Worcester.
Anyways, so that's something. But we've got some good meetings coming up, and it's on the website too, and it'll be in Zero Beat. But next month is beginning contesting, and Matt W1PY is going to talk on that. And then in November, we've got Jeff NT1K is going to talk about SDR and the Flex Radio and do a live demo. Najim talked about the technical end of it, and Jeff is going to talk about the visual end of it, so you can see really what it's about and what he can do with the Flex Radio and what you can do with SDR itself. And then, like I said, we're hoping to find a guest speaker for a virtual holiday party. In January, Harold, N1FTP, is going to talk about awards that anybody can earn. He loves collecting paper. He's got all sorts of awards. We've got a page on the website about different awards. They're easy to collect. They're fun. They're a challenge. And Harold's going to talk about how you can go about doing this, how you go about getting started in it, and catch that bug. In February, we've got, we're going to talk about fox hunting techniques and gear. 3 of my friends down in the Connecticut area who are part of the Connecticut fox hunting group and hunt with very different gear in a very different way are going to spend some time talking to us and explaining things. Rod N1RUU uses a very interesting aspect of way of doing things. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very interesting too. And then we've got Club Log. What is it and what can you do with it? We've been talking about Club Log for a while. It's more than just reporting your score and how much DX you've worked. There's a lot of different things you can do with it, and that's going to be talked about in the springtime too. We've got Nick, what's this called? K1NZ is going to give a talk on that. And then I've got a couple of things in the group, some ideas. I talked to a friend of mine down in Atlanta who collects paddles and straight keys and asked him to give a talk, and he's going to get back to me as to when he can do that. And always looking for new ideas and prospective guest speakers. So if anybody has any ideas, drop us an email and we'll find somebody, or if you know of somebody that might want to speak, let us know too. It's we've only got 2, other than the holiday party, we've only got 2 months open from now through June. So the full year is scheduled for guest speakers. So we're going to have some good meetings. Are there any announcements going on? Aaron or Al, anything going on with the Franklin County group? No, I guess not.
You'd have to ask Al. I'm not part of that club anymore.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Al, is there anything going on with Franklin County? Are you guys doing virtual meetings too, or what?
Yes, we are doing can you hear me?
Yes.
We're doing a virtual meeting on Monday. We are not terribly well organized for this year yet. But our new president, Silas, has some ideas, and we're probably going to be talking about what we do next. So, and it is on, you can find the information on how to attend our virtual meeting by picking up a copy of our newsletter, which quite a few of you probably already get by email, but if you don't get it by email, You can download it from the fcarc.org website.
Sounds good. Thank you, Al. If you want to make a post on that Sunday or Monday on the HCRA Facebook page, maybe we can get some of our members to go up there and join you. And hopefully it won't overlap with our Monday night knit. Let's see here. Any other goings on or happenings or anything anybody wants to announce?
Two announcements, Larry.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Two announcements.
Okay, go ahead,
Two.
Marcel. The floor is yours.
Okay. First, we need somebody to cover the 10-meter net on Monday night. Larry's going to be away on vacation. I have the Springfield cert, and we have the Western Mass Races nets. So I will not be available during the time slot. If somebody can do that, that would be great.
I'll take it on Thursday night.
Monday night, Ted. Not
Monday night.
Monday night, I'm sorry.
Monday night, 28375. You know, we talked a long time the other night.
Yep, I'm happy to do it.
Fantastic. Okay, very good. The other announcement is I sent an email out. I don't know if everybody got it. I don't know if I got a few bounces back. I am going to be doing a balloon project next year, high altitude ballooning. I am perfectly willing to foot the bill for this. I figure it's going to be between $300 and $500. My goal is to circumnavigate the globe at least once, and we're going to be using Whisper and APRS, sending back signals. I need some help. I have cataracts in each one of my eyes. I cannot do any soldering, fine soldering anymore. I've also got pretty good arthritis in both hands. So I'm going to need somebody to maybe do some soldering on the boards. And I'm also going to want somebody to maybe do some videoing of the launch and, you know, maybe we could do a little presentation. I'm really hoping that this is something that we could interest kids in schools, you know, maybe the STEM schools or some of the, you know, the kids in that kind of an accelerated class interested in science, technology, engineering, and math, and get them interested not only in that part of it, but also in ham radio in general. So those are my two announcements. If anybody has any interest or any inclination, help me with the soldering and doing some videoing and just want to be part of the project, I would really welcome some help on this. I anticipate doing this sometime in the late spring to early summer. This year, we are in this incredible vortex where the balloons are coming across the Pacific and getting into loops that are several thousand miles in diameter or circumference, give or take whatever loop they happen to be into. And then several of them have gotten over the West Coast and then got pushed up over the North Pole, come back down, and it's just a crazy jet stream right now. So they're saying that things should kind of die down, and when we get to the winter months, we'll return to normal. So my goal is to get a launch up sometime before June of next year and see how it works. So anybody who's interested, aa1wh@arrl.net. I would love help, and I really need help with the technical aspect of it, because there's no way I can do any kind of very fine soldering with the eyes and the hands. And with that, back to Net.
I have a thought for that, Marcel, and we have a board meeting coming up the third week or fourth week, shortly after I come back from Gettysburg on vacation. And maybe we'll discuss about the club sponsoring the balloon launch. Instead of you picking up it out of your pocket, the club can certainly afford it, and it'd be a great project for the club to do, as long as you're willing to put a little HCRA logo on there and stuff. But we can bring that up at the board meeting, and then we can announce it. And in the meantime, is there anybody that is willing to help with doing some soldering and maybe some videography of the launch when it happens next year? I know a couple of you guys are very good technical, so
I can help. I already messaged Marcel.
Okay, good. There you go. Marcel, you've got a soldering person, and I'm sure we can find somebody that can video it. I've got I think it's an 18 megapixel digital camera with video, with 4K video. You know, we can put it up, and I can certainly record it there if we need to, or we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So don't worry about that.
Just a suggestion on the soldering. If it is a possibility to get kids involved, as you know, I was involved with Pathfinder and getting the ISS contact, and I know what they wanted to do last year before the COVID hit was a balloon launch. So it might be interesting if we could actually get the kids over there, and I'm in contact with the instructor over there to actually do some of the work. It would get them involved in that. Just a suggestion, because there may be other schools locally that are interested. But Marcel, with your permission, I can call over there and just see what the status is in terms of getting anything done at this point.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up, Gary, because this is something that actually we kind of talked about a little bit at the board meeting, and this is something I'm really interested in doing is, getting kids involved, and I just don't know the way to go about it, and I kind of made a joke about it. If you look at the people on this website tonight, we're pretty much old white men. And I don't know that
there are a number of women at this meeting tonight.
Well, there are a couple, but my point being, if I was the principal of a school and I have 8 old white guys walking in saying, we want to see your kids and talk to them about science, I want to know a little bit more. So yeah, if anybody has that kind of a lead in, that would be wonderful. And I would love to have an opportunity to present our club to the kids, and maybe motivate a kid to get involved with us. That would, in ham radio, that would be wonderful. Absolutely, do it.
Okay, we'll pick this up further at the board meeting. I wrote myself a note. We'll add it to the board meeting agenda, and we'll definitely. I think we'll vote on it. We'll get the club to sponsor it, Marcel, so it doesn't come out of pocket. And with Gary's connections at the school. And we can make this into a very interesting project and involve, some non-hams too, and maybe get some kids and some other people interested in ham radio also. And I have a friend of mine too, Marcel. His name is Dave Marinelli. He posted in the HRA Facebook page. He's not a ham, but I'm slowly working on him. I met him in our Boy Scout troop 15 years ago. He's a retired doctor. He's getting into ballooning. He's got a mild interest in radio that I'm slowly nurturing him into. But you might want to drop him a note on the Facebook page and tell him what you're planning on doing and what the club's going to be doing. And he'll be somebody else that's into it, because he's starting to get into balloon tracking too.
Okay.
So, and I'll send you both.
I will reach out to him.
Cool. Anybody else have any other comments?
I'm on tonight.
I'm sorry?
This is Dave Marinelli. I'm actually on. And
you're on, Dave. Okay.
Yeah, I'm tracking a balloon as we speak. If you wanted me to share my screen, I could show you what it looks like.
Sure, go right ahead.
Do I need permission to share my screen?
Nope, go right ahead. I think I said it so you just got to click share screen.
Yeah, so this is HDSDR. That's the output from the balloon. This balloon was launched from Albany weather station at about 7 p.m. today. And I've got pretty good telemetry on it. It's a little bit east of Pittsfield. This is HDSDR, and it looks like I've nudged the frequency here. So let me adjust that.
What is the actual frequency? Is it 1679 megahertz?
It's 1.68 megahertz.
Oh, 160 meter band, or right around there.
Yeah, I think I've got that right. No, it's 1680 megahertz.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, 1680 megahertz. So you can see I've got a pretty good signal here. I've been picking up the telemetry, and I have another software package which takes the output from HDSDR and then plots where the balloon is. And you can see blue is where I picked it up, yellow is where the balloon ruptured, and pink is where it's descending by parachute. And it was predicted that this balloon would land somewhere south of Northampton, and it looks like the predictions are pretty close. This is a plot of the track going up. This is where I picked it up. This is where it ruptured. And then this is where it is right now in altitude. And the data that's output, it looks like every second or so you get a new GPS position. And if you track one close to the ground, you can go to that location and pick up the signal again, and then usually find the radiosonde hanging from a tree by the parachute. So it's like fox hunting, only nobody knows where it's gonna be, I guess.
So if you went back to your previous graph there, Dave, did that rupture at 9,000 feet? Is that roughly where it ruptured?
It's 35.
Or was that?
Yeah, it's 35,000 meters.
35.
So it's about
okay.
100,000 feet, 20 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, they're up there.
But this isn't going to circumnavigate. This is a relatively short flight.
Right. Yeah, these weather balloons are launched twice a day from 100 locations across the United States for the Weather Service.
Okay, so now, thanks, Larry. Now you just got me into another new hobby. You want to get out of town, Anne's going to come looking for you.
All right, well, you and Dave can commiserate here since you're interested in different balloons, but maybe a joint balloon thing. But hey, Dave, thanks for joining us tonight. Glad you could. You've sparked some interest.
Great. And I got started for under $100. You know, this is my radio and this is my filter, and it came with a couple free antennas, and that's all it took.
Can you show us again, Dave?
Yeah, this is an ESDR dongle from New Electric, and a Sawbird filter that filters out the radio frequency spectrum so that you know, we're getting mostly what we want. I don't understand it all that well, but it, you know, didn't take much to get going in it.
I think that SDR kit you bought from me, Marcel, will cover those frequencies, I believe.
Yeah, but they're too heavy for what I want to do, Larry. I'm looking to be well under 30 grams, and that's including 2 solar panels and a 20-meter antenna, which is typically a little thin piece of bronze wire that just streams from the balloon.
Cool.
I'll show you what I'm looking at, but it's really cool.
Okay, cool. All right, sounds good, Dave and Marcel. Cool stuff. Balloons are coming into the future. Anybody else have any other comments or questions or announcements?
Yes, this is Vanessa. I have a comment.
Okay, all right, how about a raise your hand, because there are a lot of people talking. Go ahead, Ray, first.
Okay, yeah, Larry, I'll definitely email Fred and see what if he is available. I know he hasn't really done a whole heck of a lot division-wide. He has, as you know, he was part of the ethics committee in selecting the new CEO and the director of emergency communications. That may free up some time, so I'll definitely email him. What are the dates that you're looking to have him on, if he can?
Oh, that's what's the first Friday in December? Wait a minute, let me pull up my calendar here. Yeah, 1 sec, October, November, December. So we're looking at Friday, December 4th.
December 4th?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let me see what I can do. I know some email replies from him tend to be far and few between. I do know he has been very busy with a couple of tower cases and other things. And of course, case in point, since January, we haven't had a vice director
Cabinet meeting,
since
yeah.
Mike Reisbeck elevated. So, but I'll do what I can for you on that. And Marcel, I don't know if you're familiar with them, the Nashua Radio Club in Nashua, New Hampshire. The president there, his name is Fred Kemmerer. If you may have noticed, he's also been featured in QST as of recently. He is humongous in advocating education and STEM programs for amateur radio. He's had some very huge demonstrations at the former Boxborough site where he just basically took up one wall. He had kids doing soldering projects, showing all kinds of different aspects of ham radio. He's very, very big into getting youth into ham radio. And he has been known to, go out there and, make visits and do presentations and stuff like that to get the clubs interested in getting more involved in what to do and how to do it. He's very successful. He's got well over 100 members in his club now. His website is November1foxdelta.org. And he also has also done a number of balloon projects. So that'd be a
I
great
am gonna, yeah, I am, thanks, Ray. I'm gonna get in touch with him over this coming weekend. That's great. How are you? It's a while since we've talked.
I'm doing okay for an old buzzard. Just staying busy. I'm working on my Mad Dog project, which, actually based on this, I'm going to see about putting together something so I could share with the other clubs. I'm actually taking a 7x14 cargo trailer and converting it into a 3-station ham shack solar powered.
Oh, very cool.
Do you have any section news, Ray, or anything you want to announce?
Well,
or maybe just the website so people can go looking.
Oh yeah, the Western Mass website, wma.arrl.org. If those of you who haven't visited, every month I usually put my musings and information. Anything of any importance, I usually get that on there. I'm very active on that site, and I try to keep everybody informed as much as I can. Of late, obviously, Nearfest in October is no longer. That's not going to happen. What it has unfortunately happened, of course, with the uncertainty of the May event coming up, they are hurting for money. These two events, and especially 2019, where they were basically washouts, has left them very cash strapped. So what they're actually doing is they're taking and putting a call out for anybody that wants to purchase tickets in advance so that they can at least get some money in the bank to do what they need to do. The tickets will be the usual $10. I think you can see that on nearfest.com or .org, one or the other. Yeah, they're looking for some assistance. And as of next year, anybody purchasing tickets at the site or through the other outlets, there is going to be an increase to $15 for entry instead of the $10 because obviously they need to do things to keep things afloat. So hopefully, that'll continue on. It was a great tradition. So I'll plan on putting some stuff in. And as I previously mentioned, yeah, we haven't had a vice director. We've been kind of pushing to get that. Obviously, the pandemic has kind of slowed things down, and it hasn't been much of a priority. But for those of you that don't know, we now have a CEO, which is, I think, is going to hopefully see a lot of change within the league as far as getting things modernized. One of the biggest squawks that's been going on is, largely it's a bunch of people that are stuck to the old rigid ways of the way things were back then, and they weren't really willing to change. And hopefully, and it has been starting, the conversion from the old style, keeping it, but augmenting it with a lot of the newer stuff like balloons, SDR, STEM learnings, The lifelong learning thing is going on. So there's a lot of that happening, and hopefully we're going to see a lot more of that solidified and in better use as time goes on. So
Okay, that's great. Just shoot the website out there again, Ray.
it's wma.arrl.org.
Yeah, we usually put that in Zero Beat, and it's up on our website somewhere too.
Yep. And you know, and also there's no problem if you're looking for content for your newsletter. You know, pull my section report out of there and put it in your newsletter.
I'll mention that to Ray. Great, thank you. Any other announcements or comments before we shut things down for tonight?
This is Vanessa. I have a comment.
Go right ahead, Vanessa.
Yes, I don't know if everybody's aware, besides the website, we have a YouTube channel that has a handful of videos. So we want to increase the number of videos that are there. So if you are working on a project or doing something that you feel compelled to videotape, think about providing it for so we can publish it in the YouTube channel. That way we can generate more content, and your knowledge or your project then gets a wider.
Hold on.
Hello? Oh, sorry. So that was it.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So we'll start doing that too. Tonight's meeting I'm recording too, and like we did in the past, I'll upload that to my Dropbox file and share that with you. Any other comments for tonight before I shut things down?
2 more quick questions, Larry.
Created a monster. Go right ahead, Marcel.
First question, we had Dave and Ray as guests in the audience tonight. Are there any others?
Well, Spencer's joined us for the first time, and
Hello, Spencer.
He's posted on the HRA Facebook page the other day. He's a new ham, a new father, working on his PhD at UMass. Looking through the lists, I don't see, I don't recognize any other new people. Off the top of my head, I don't recognize. Anybody else here for the first time? No? What's your second thing, Marcel?
My second question, what's this YouTube channel? Is it ours, the club's?
That's correct, it's the club's. I believe it must be on the website somewhere, but if you go to the section for the board meetings, the videos for the board meetings are posted in there, and that will point you to the YouTube channel also. And I think you can subscribe from the main page if you look for the YouTube symbol, the icon for YouTube.
Very good. Thank you, Vanessa.
All right, we'll see
I wasn't aware.
We'll see if we can get John to put something in Zero Beat about that, and if we have to, we'll have Vanessa make it a little more aware on the website and all. Okay, well, I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight. We're approaching 2 hours, which is great. I'd like to thank Charlie, Jurgen, John, and Aaron for presenting tonight. You definitely added to the fun. And to everybody for joining with us. We had 31 people tonight, which is a good way to start the fall. It's a beautiful night. And thank you all for checking in and for joining us. We got a good meeting next month. Stay tuned for that, beginning contesting just in time for the contesting season. So something new and something fun. And that's all. Everybody have a great weekend and a safe weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. And hopefully I'll hear you on the bands. I'm going to be doing some DMR work and some HF work from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where we're going to spend 10 days, and we're taking off tomorrow for.
Have fun, Larry.
Yeah, thanks. But I might talk to you on DMR, Ted, like I did from Foxborough the other day. So
I'll text you and then we'll connect.
all right. So anyways, I'm going to shut the meeting down. Thank you again, everyone, and have a good evening. W1A.
73
Very
all.
good. 7-3.
Bye, Ray.
73.
Take care.
Good night,
Hey,
all.
Larry,
Good night.
Good night.
can you,
Good night.
can you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just pressed down the bar here on the shift, and I was just wondering if the audio was working.
Oh, it sounds great.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Good night, Larry.